And I said to him, you can keep your old job.
I'm ready to read the new play, Miss Wellington, anytime you are.
Just a minute, dearie, just a minute.
The only thing is, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you, Miss Wellington? I'm just asking, of course.
I'm glad you brought it up. Second the show begins, I never touch a drop. Moment the curtain opens, the bottle gets put away. Until intermission.
Been on stage a long time, Miss Wellington.
All my life. Ever seen Peg on My Heart?
Yes.
I saw it too. Good show. My, it's hot in here, ain't it?
Would you like me to open the window for you, Miss Wellington?
No. To hell with the weather. Say, he's cute.
Reba, she's just acting. That's all. Doesn't mean anything.
Whenever you're ready, Miss Wellington. I thought we'd go up and start. I thought we'd read the new play up in my room.
I'm ready, dearie. When I see snakes, it's time to lie down.
Oh dear, I hope she's not going to. Oh, Miss Wellington!
Sounds like a light.
Well, we better just let her sleep it off.
Reba, Mrs. Wellington just passed out.
Good! Do you think she'll be all right, Grandpa?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Well, I guess I'll just have to wait.
I think the next time you meet an actress on the top of a bus, Penny, I'd send her the script rather than bring her home to read it.
Ed, I wish you'd stop grinning. Start taking those love dreams around. You have to get back in time to play for me when Kolenkov comes.
Kolenkov coming tonight.
Yes! Well, tomorrow night's his night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Big doings tomorrow night. Huh?
Exciting, isn't it? You know, I'm so nervous you'd think it was me he was engaged to instead of Alice.
I wonder how they're like. His mother and father? Ed, what are you doing now?
Hey, Penny, you see the new mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
Wait a minute, Ed. Don't tell me. Helen of Troy.
This is Roosevelt.
You know, the nice thing about these Mikado sets, you can make so many different things with them. Last week it was the Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
This week, it's a man of war.
Hasn't got a helmet on.
Look, Mr. DePena, could you go out front, see if there's a woman standing there?
Why? Before?
Past 2 days when I've been out delivering candy, I think a woman's been following me.
What?
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. She just stands there and looks at the houses.
I'll go take a look.
Why would anybody follow you, Ed?
Well, there's a lot of kidnapping going on, Grandpa.
But not of Ed.
Well, did you see her?
There's nobody out there at all.
You sure?
Positive, I just saw her walk away.
See?
Well, it could have been anyone walking along the street, Ed. Now, will you hurry and get back?
All right, fine.
Mr. Seymour, do you want to run back downstairs and finish packing up the fireworks?
Oh, sure. You know, we have to pack up a lot of things from Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow a piece of paper? I'm making a list for Reba tomorrow night.
Of course, dear. Here's some.
Why? What's happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
No, she's not acting, Alice. She's just really drunk.
Oh. I see, dear. You're going to give Reba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Of course, Alice. And I'll start on some love dreams, so I'll be way ahead.
Thanks, dear. Look, Mother, I'll be home by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter and the snakes and the xylophone and the printing press?
And Miss Wellington.
Oh, and Miss Wellington. That'll give me time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
The Kirby's are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this place.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think we ought to have cocktails ready by 7:15, just in case they happen to come a little early. I wonder if I ought to let Reba do the cooking. What do you think, Grandpa?
Now, Alice, from what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure the Kirbys are fine people. And if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow night, that's okay too.
Darling, I'm not trying to impress them or make us out to be anything that we're not. I just want everything to go off well.
No reason it shouldn't, Alice.
We're all going to do everything we can to make it a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anybody could be so happy. Why, this past week has been like floating. He's so wonderful, Grandpa. Why, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Well, just seeing him for lunch and dinner until 3 o'clock in the morning. And 9 a.m. the next day, you're at the office, and there he is, just seeing him.
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba! Reba!
Nice, isn't it? Nice to see her so happy.
Yes, I remember when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
I know. Nice the way Ed and Essie get along, too.
And Donald and Reba, even though they're not married. Do you suppose Mr. DePino will ever get married?
Well, there is Miss Wellington.
Oh dear. I do wish she'd wake up if we're going to read the play tonight.
Hey, Mrs. Sigmore, look what I found. Do you remember?
Of course, it's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandpa.
Yes, I remember. Say, you've got a little bald, haven't you, Mr. DePino?
Is it very noticeable? Oh wait, I still have some right here.
No. It was a long time ago, just before I stopped painting. Let me see. That's 8 years.
Well, it's a shame you never finished it.
Oh, I always meant to finish it, Mr. DePina. But one day I started to write a play, and that was that. I never painted again.
Just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
My goodness. Who would have thought that day it came to deliver the ice, I'd be staying here for 8 years?
Milkman was just ahead of you. Here for 5.
Why did he leave anyhow? I forget.
He didn't leave. He died.
Right.
He was such a nice man. Do you remember his funeral, Grandpa? We never knew his name, so it was kind of hard to get a certificate.
Yes, what was the name we ended up giving?
Martin Vanderhoff, we gave him your name.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, it was a lovely idea. Otherwise, he never would have gotten all those flowers.
Certainly didn't hurt me any. Haven't been bothered by mail anymore and haven't received a telephone call from that day to this.
Really was a wonderful idea.
Well, I wish you'd finish it, Mrs. Sigmore. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mr. DePina? I think I'll work on it right tonight.
Really, will you?
I don't think she's gonna wake up anyhow. Look, Mr. DePina, go down in the cellar and put on your costume. And bring up the easel. Is it still down there?
I think so.
Now, where did I put my palette and brushes?
Rebishka, my little Rebishka!
Yes, sir, Mr. Kolenkoff.
Oh, hello, Mr. Kolenkoff. Essie's in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Grandpa, what do I do about Rebishka? I tell her she will make a great doll dancer. But she laughs so.
No, sir. I couldn't get up on my toes, Mr. Kolenkoff. I have corns.
Rebishka, you could wear diamond. A great girl, Grandpa. What is that?
Picture of Mr. DePina. Penny painted it.
It stinks!
I know. Say, what do you think of that?
What is that?
Actress friend of Penny's.
She is drunk, no?
She is drunk, yes. So, how are you, Kolenkoff?
Magnificent! Life is racing all a square.
Tis, huh? Any news from Russia? Any letters from your friend in Moscow?
Ah, yes. I have saved for you this stamp.
Thanks, Kolenkov.
They have sent him to Siberia.
They have. How's he like it up there?
He has escaped. He has escaped and go back to Moscow. Ah, he will get them if they do not get him. Soviet government. I could take the whole Soviet government and...
I'm sorry, I'm late, Mr. Kolenkov. I'll get into my dancing clothes right away.
Tonight, you will really work for it, Poglova. Tonight, we will take something new.
Is he making any progress, Kolenkov?
Confidentially, she stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
Sure you tickle Reba, Mr. Kolenkov. She is laughing her head off out there.
She is a great woman. Donald, what do you think of the Soviet government?
What? Mr. Kolenkov?
Ah, sorry. I withdraw the question. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know?
Ah, yes. And you like it?
Yes, sir, it's fine. The only thing is, you gotta go around to that place everyone to get it. And sometimes, you gotta stand in that line pretty near half an hour. Yeah, half an hour. Government ought to run better than that. Wouldn't you say, Grandpa?
Government ought to stop sending me letters. Want me to be down at the United States Marshal's office, 10 a.m. Tuesday. Look at that.
Ah, income tax. They have got you, Grandpa.
Want me to pay a whole lot of money so as to keep Donald on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You're gonna pay from now on?
That's what they want.
So you mean I can come right here and get it instead of standing in that line?
No, I'm afraid you're going to have to waste a whole 30 minutes each week.
Well, I don't like it. Breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in line. Red line. Oh, Grandpa. What they have done to Russia. Think of it. The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina, cousin of the Tsar, she is waitress in child restaurant. I ordered to make speech from her only yesterday. Broke my heart. A crazy world, Grandpa.
Oh, the world's not so crazy, Kolenkov. It's the people in it. Life's pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax in times like these?
Well, if they'd relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's just my point. Life's pretty beautiful if you just let it come to you. Trouble is, most people forget that. I know I sure did. I was in the thick of it. Scratching, clawing, fighting, regular jumping. But then I just kind of realized I wasn't having any fun.
So, you did what?
Just relaxed. 35 years ago, that was. Been a happy man ever since.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Kolenkov.
Oh, Miss Alice! I have not seen you to present my congratulations.
Thank you.
May you be very happy and have many children. That is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Oh, love! Love is all that is nothing about, Grandpa.
Yes, but there is plenty of it.
And soon Stalin will take that away too. I tell you, Grandpa.
It seems so nice to get into my art things again. Do they still look all right?
Sure do.
You are a breath of Paris, Madam Sycamore.
Thank you, Mr. Kolenkov.
I didn't know you were working for the WPA.
Oh no, Donald. You see, I used to paint all the time.
Happened again. There was some woman following me every place I went.
Nonsense. nonsense, Ed. It's just your imagination.
No, it isn't. It happens every time I go out to deliver candy.
Maybe she just wants a piece of candy.
It's all right for you to laugh, Grandpa. But she keeps following me.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I was followed right out of Russia.
Of course. You see, Ed, it's just your imagination.
All right, I guess.
Mrs. Sycamore, where do you want these? Over there?
Oh, right over here.
And for tonight's lesson, we use the first movement of Shahrazad.
Okay.
Has something happened to your figure these past 8 years, Mr. DePinna?
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, Miss Wellington, yes! Oh, dear.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Kulikov. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hot night for it, my Popova. But true art is only achieved through perspiration.
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Kolenkov. Did you hear that, Grandpa? True art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but certainly helps if you've got some talent with it. Only got 2 bullseyes yesterday. Gotta do better than that.
Ready? We begin! Now, pirouette. Pirouette. Come, you can do these. It's 8 years now. At last. Now, Andresha. Oh, Grandpa. You cannot relax with Stalin in Russia. They so relaxed it. Look what happened to him.
He was too late.
Mr. Kulikov! Mr. Kulikov!
If he had not relaxed, the Grand Duchess could not be serving baked beans today.
Mr. Kulikov!
Oh, I am sorry. He go back to the field.
Could you pull your stomach in, Mr. DePinna? That's right.
A little freer with the hands. Your whole body must work. Ed, help us with the music. The music must be free too.
Miss Sycamore! Miss Sycamore! What, Reba? Oh!
Good evening.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Are we too early?
Oh, not at all. It's perfectly all right. Come on in.
Yes, only we weren't expecting you until tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening?
What? Why, it's perfectly all right. We're glad to see you. Just make yourselves at home.
Tony, how could you possibly?
I don't know. I thought
Really, Tony? This is most embarrassing.
Not at all. Why, we weren't doing a thing.
Oh no, just a quiet evening at home.
That's all. Now, don't let it bother you. This is Alice's mother, Mrs. Sycamore.
How do you do?
Alice's sister, Mrs. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael. And Mr. Kolenkov. And Mr. DePinna.
Don't mind my costume, I'll take it right off.
Mr. DePinna, would you go down and tell Mr. Kirby to come right up? Mr. Sycamore, the Kirbys are here. Tell him the Kirbys are here.
Oh, and be sure to put his pants on.
All right, excuse me.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'll just tell Alice that you're, Alice dear.
What is it?
Will you come downstairs, please? We've got a surprise for you. Well,
May I take your wrap, Mrs. Kirby?
Well, thank you. If you're perfectly sure that we're not a snitch!
Why, don't be alarmed, Miss Kirby. They're perfectly harmless. And take them into the kitchen.
of course, we're so used to having them around the house.
I'm sorry, but snakes just happen to be.
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you possibly have done such a thing?
I'm sorry, Dad. I thought it was
No,
fine.
it was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now, Mr. Kirby, anybody can get mixed up.
Now, Penny, why don't we get some dinner for these folks? folks. They've come for dinner.
Please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all. Oh, but it's not a bit of bother. Ed, will you tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon? Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Please don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyways.
I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon? Oh, I'm very fond of it. We can have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
We'll make it frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell's soup. Got that?
Okay.
And tell them to hurry. The A&P is just around the corner, and the frankfurters won't take any time to boil.
Oh, and this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore. Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you?
I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year. Around the 4th of July, he always...
Oh,
Darling, I'm the most forwarded person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
why, Tony, I thought you... I'm so sorry. I can't imagine why I wasn't... Have you all met each other?
Yes. Indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Darling, you look lovely.
Of course she does. Don't let this upset you, my dear. We've all met a night sooner, and that is all.
Of course.
But I was planning such a nice dinner tomorrow evening.
Well, then we'll come again tomorrow evening.
There you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that we better see about getting you some dinner.
Oh, that's all been taken care of. That's all been attended to.
But Mother, what did you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion, and he can only eat certain things.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Of course it is, dear.
I asked them what they wanted.
Yes, but I...
Now. It's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion at all, Mr. Kirby. Perhaps you have stomach ulcers.
Oh.
Don't be absurd, Mr. Kolikoff.
You mustn't mind Mr. Koldenkoff, Mr. Kirby. He's a Russian, and Russians tend to look on the dark side.
All right. I am a Russian. But a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcers.
Please, Mr. Kolikoff. Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
All right. Let him wait.
Please, take a seat, Mr. Kirby. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
So, how do you find business conditions? Figure we're coming out of the depression.
Yes, I think so. Of course, it all depends.
But you figure we'll keep on improving.
Broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is operating at 64% of full capacity, as against 82% in 1920.
was a young lady from Wheeling, who had a remarkable feeling.
Why, that might seem quite strange to you folks. She's not quite accountable for her actions. A friend of Mrs. Sycamore, she came over for dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Yes, some people feel it more than others, you know. Perhaps I'll go check on her.
It is awfully hot in here. You usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby? Up in Maine?
As a rule. But I had to come down this weekend, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. That blue ribbon is the high spot of her year.
I won a ribbon at a flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
Oh, yes.
Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Well, he shouldn't be any time at all. I'm afraid you must be starved.
Oh no, we're quite all right. Hello, what's this? I didn't know there were small children in the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
Really? Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use this as a model of some sort?
No, I just play with it.
I see.
Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr.
kind, they require the most scrupulous care. I remember a ball.
Donald, here we are. Did you get everything we needed?
Yes, ma'am. Only they didn't have any frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Never mind, Donald. Just bring everything into the kitchen. Mr. Kirby, please tell them about your orchids. I'm sure they'd love to hear all about it. And, excuse me.
So, quite an expensive hobby, isn't it, raising orchids?
Yes, it is, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it's never expensive.
That's very true.
Because you see, I need something to relieve me from the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd probably go insane if I didn't have something like that. In fact, I know a lot of men that have yachts just for that very reason.
Why don't you quit Wall Street?
How is that?
I was joking.
I think it's essential for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, it's more to me than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism. Spiritualism? Now, Mrs. Kirby, everybody knows that's a fake. Well, to me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism, I'd rather not discuss it, Sycamore.
Well, remember now, Penny, you have one or two hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think what's important is the type. It's to have a hobby.
Well, to be ideal, a hobby should improve the body as well as the mind. The Romans were great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid wrestling isn't very practical for most of us. I know I would make a good showing as a wrestler.
You would be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look.
Mr. Kirby, are you hurt?
Are you all right, Father?
Where are my glasses?
Oh, here they are, Mr. Kirby. Oh, Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
I see.
Oh, I am sorry. But when you wrestle next, you will of course not wear glasses.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kolenkov.
Better sit down, Father.
How would you do such a thing, Mr. Kolnikov? Why didn't somebody stop him?
I think if you don't mind, perhaps we'd better be leaving. Mother!
Oh, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Mr. Kirby, I've ordered some scrambled eggs for you and plain salad. Please don't go.
I am sorry if I did something wrong, and I apologize.
I can't tell you how sorry I am. If I'd been here,
That's quite all right.
Of course it is. It's all right, Alice. But we're not going. Well, that was exciting for a moment, wasn't it?
So, you were talking about your orchids. You raise many different varieties.
I'm afraid I've forgotten about my orchids at the moment.
well, I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him on the ground, didn't kill him.
Please, Mr. Kolnikov.
Ugh.
Well, I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now.
Would you like a love drink while you're waiting, Mr. Kirby? They're freshly made.
No, thank you. My doctor does not permit me to eat candy.
Oh, these are nothing, Mr. Kirby. Just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
Don't, Essie.
Well,
Miss Alice. Miss Alice. Excuse me. What is it, Reba?
I dropped the eggs on the sink.
Well, make some more, quick. I don't have any. Send Donald out for some. All right, and tell him to hurry. I'm so sorry there'll be a little delay, but everything will be ready in just a moment.
certainly put you all to a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
Not at all. Look, why don't we play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
That'd be fine.
But Mother, Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
I know again. I have a wonderful trick with that glass.
Oh, Mr. Collingrove.
But this game is perfectly harmless. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
But Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool can play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is, here, just write your name on this piece of paper. And Mrs. Kirby, you do the same on this one.
Mother, what is this game?
Oh, I used to play it at school. It's called Forget-Me-Not. Oh, here you are, Grandpa. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words, just anything at all, and you're to write down the first word that comes to mind. Is that clear? For instance, if I call out green, you might put down grass. Just whatever comes to mind. Or if I say chair, you might put down table. It shows the reactions people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father. Be a sport.
Very well. I shall be happy to play.
You see, Alice, he did want to play.
Well, everybody ready?
Ready?
Now remember, you must play fair. Put down the first word that comes to mind.
I understand.
All right, everybody ready? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next one? Bathroom. Mother, bathroom. All right, the next word is lust.
Mother, this is not exactly what
Nonsense, Alice. That word's all right.
Mother, it's not all right. Oh, I don't know. It seems like a perfectly fair word to me.
You see, Alice, now don't interrupt the game.
May I have that last word again, please?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I've got it.
This is quite the game, isn't it?
Shh, Grandpa. All right, the next word is honeymoon. Now, Essie. All right, everybody ready for the last one? The last word is sex. Mother. Everybody got sex? All right, now give me your papers. May I have the paper, Mr. Kirby?
Of course.
All right, now this is the best part. Now I read your answers aloud.
I see. This is quite an interesting game.
Oh, I knew you'd like it, Mr. Kirby. You know what? I'll read your paper first. This is Mr. Kirby's paper, everyone. Potatoes, steak. You see how those go together, steak and potatoes?
I just happened to think of it.
Well, that's very good. Bathroom, toothpaste, well. Lust, unlawful. Well, isn't that nice? Honeymoon, trip, yes. And sex, male. Of course you are, Mr. Kirby. That's a very wonderful paper.
Thank you. More than just a game, you know, it's a sort of experiment in psychology, isn't it?
Yes, it shows just how your mind works. Now let's see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. This is Mrs. Kirby's paper, everyone. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh, dear. Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow that, my dear.
I just thought of you in connection with it. After all, you are in there quite a bit. Bathing and shaving and, well, you do take a long time.
Indeed. I hadn't realized I was being selfish in the matter. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
I think this game is rather silly and we ought to stop it. Yes.
No. Please. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, where was I? Oh, yes. Lust, human.
Human! Really, Miriam?
What I meant is that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I don't agree with you. Lust is not a human emotion. It is to pray.
Oh, very well. I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game. Suppose we all play, 20 questions?
Yes.
No. I find this game rather interesting. Please, go on, Mrs. Sycamore. What was the next word?
Honeymoon.
Oh. And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Honeymoon. Doll.
Did you say doll?
No, what I meant is that Hot Springs was not very exciting that season. With all those old people on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
That was not your reaction at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is only a game.
A very illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, this one's all right. Sex. Wall Street.
Wall Street. What do you mean by that, Miriam?
I don't know what I meant. Nothing.
But you must have meant something, Miriam, or you would have put it down.
It was just the first thing that came to my mind, that's all.
But what does it mean? Sex? Wall Street?
Oh, I don't know, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when we're I don't know what I meant. I think we need to leave. This game is giving me a terrible headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes. Perhaps we better postpone the dinner a little while.
Oh, but you're coming tomorrow evening, aren't you? I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Yes, perhaps we better postpone the whole affair a little while. The hot weather.
I think we're being very ungracious, Father. Of course we'll stay together. Tonight.
This game is giving me a bad headache.
Come, Tony, I'm sure everyone understands.
No, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony. Well, fools, Tony, ever to think this would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be in the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry to hear that, my dear. Very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony?
Darling, you mustn't mind this.
It's been very nice to have met you all.
Yes. Lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
I see. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. Good night.
Good night.
Stay right where you are, everybody! Don't move!
How dare you!
Goodness!
What is this? I demand an explanation!
Keep your mouth shut!
Don't get like that.
Which one is it? This is him.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey! Grandpa, what is all this?
This is an outrage!
Silence!
What's your name?
Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
Haven't, huh?
Now, officer, this all seems rather high-handed to me. What's it all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, Jason! Ed, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
What's the boy done, officer?
What is this? What's this all about?
That door leads to the cellar. Yes, it does.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, Chief.
Take a look upstairs.
I haven't done anything.
Come here. Ever seen these before?
Those are my circulars.
You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you put them in a box of candy and give them to the people's homes. The love trees!
But I didn't mean anything like that.
You didn't, did you? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. Dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state is God.
But I didn't mean any of that. I just like to print dynamite.
Now, officer, the government's in no danger from Ed. Printing is his hobby, that's all. He prints Ed.
He does, eh?
I've never heard of such nonsense.
I refuse to stay here and just get... Hey, let me get my pipe, will you?
Set up! We were right, officer. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
We just-
Shut